Imagine a world where a simple cut could kill you, where pneumonia, strep throat, and even childbirth could lead to a slow and painful death. That was everyday life, until one of the most important accidents in medical history changed everything. This is the story of how mold, a messy desk, and a curious mind saved hundreds of millions of lives. Welcome to Breakthrough Medicine. Before the 20th century, infectious diseases were one of the leading causes of death worldwide. Bacterial infections like syphilis, tuberculosis, and sepsis claimed lives indiscriminately. Even small wounds could become fatal if infection set in. Surgeons worked without gloves. Childbirth often meant fever and death. There were no antibiotics, no way to fight bacteria once it entered the body. Doctors had antiseptics, but these harsh chemicals often harmed the patient as much as the infection. In 1928, a Scottish bacteriologist named Alexander Fleming was working at St. Mary's Hospital in London. He wasn't a flashy scientist, more methodical than meticulous, and known for having a rather untidy workspace. Fleming had served in World War I, where he saw countless soldiers die from infected wounds. He had a mission: find something that could kill harmful bacteria without harming human cells. At the time, this idea seemed impossible, until fate and a bit of forgetfulness intervened. In late summer 1928, Fleming returned to his lab after a 2-week vacation. Before leaving, he had left some petri dishes containing colonies of staphylococcal bacteria stacked in the corner of his workstation. When he came back, something strange caught his eye. One dish had been contaminated with a mold, but around the mold, the bacteria had completely disappeared, as if the mold was releasing something lethal to the microbes. Intrigued, Fleming examined the mold and identified it as Penicillium notatum. He later wrote, "When I woke up just after dawn on September 28, 1928, I certainly didn't plan to revolutionize all medicine by discovering the world's first antibiotic." But that's exactly what happened. Fleming began experimenting with this mysterious substance the mold produced. He named it penicillin. He tested it on other bacteria and found that it killed many disease-causing strains while leaving healthy cells unharmed. It was a miracle, but there was a problem. Fleming couldn't figure out how to isolate or mass-produce penicillin. The mold was fragile and didn't yield much usable compound. For nearly a decade, the discovery remained a scientific curiosity, known but not yet useful. In the late 1930s, scientists at Oxford University, led by Howard Florey, Ernst Boris Chain, and Norman Heatley, picked up Fleming's forgotten research. They had funding, chemistry expertise, and wartime urgency on their side. Through careful experimentation, the Oxford team figured out how to extract and purify penicillin, and how to grow more of it using fermentation techniques, including moldy cantaloupes. In 1941, they tested penicillin on a dying patient. His condition improved dramatically until the penicillin supply ran out. But the proof was there. Penicillin worked. They just needed more of it. With World War II underway, the Allies knew penicillin could save lives on the battlefield. The US and UK governments worked with pharmaceutical companies to mass-produce penicillin, using everything from lab flasks to milk churns. By D-Day in 1944, penicillin was in every medic's kit. Soldiers who once died from minor wounds were surviving. Back home, civilian access followed quickly, and diseases that had killed for centuries began to vanish. In just a few years, penicillin became known as a wonder drug. In 1945, Alexander Fleming, Howard Florey, and Ernst Chain received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for their roles in the discovery and development of penicillin. Fleming warned, even then, about the danger of overusing antibiotics, saying, "The thoughtless person playing with penicillin is morally responsible for the death of the man who succumbs to infection with the penicillin-resistant organism." His warning would prove prophetic in later decades. Penicillin ushered in the antibiotic era, leading to the development of streptomycin, tetracycline, and dozens more. Millions of lives have been saved, and entire fields of surgery and medicine became possible only because of antibiotics. Yet, the story is not over. Today, the rise of antibiotic resistance threatens to undo this progress. Scientists around the world are racing to find new solutions, just as Fleming did nearly a century ago. From a forgotten petri dish to the front lines of war, penicillin is a reminder that some of the greatest medical breakthroughs begin with curiosity and a bit of luck. Thanks for watching Breakthrough Medicine.